Once upon a time, there was this thing with another thing, and you won't believe it happened, I swear it did. I was walking around, and then this guy showed up, and he fell from the sky, and I was like, where'd you come from? And he said the sky, and I was like, whoa. And then he went into the ground, and the grass was blue, and the sky was purple. I was like, well, that's a color skies can be, I guess. And then he created a massive interdimensional wormhole, which I followed him in because I wanted to know this guy's name. And while he was going into this wormhole, I kept following him. It was really weird, and the wormhole was like this green neon, and it got really annoying to look at. And then he jumped. I was like, whoa, why'd you jump? He was like, because I like jumping. I was like, whoa. Can I get your name? And he was like, no, because I don't have a name. I was like, that's really weird. Why don't you have a name? He was like, no. I don't like names. I was like, well, did you not have parents? And he was like, yeah, I don't want to talk about it. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, dude. And then he was like, it's okay, it's okay. And then, then this guy, you know what he did? I'm just gonna call him, Blue. Basically, Blue. He walked around, and I was like, are you sure you don't have a name? And he was like, yeah. I was like, are you sure? He was like, yeah. The reason I'm calling him Blue is because he had a blue jacket with blue hair. It was kind of like that one song where they were blue. They had a blue house, I think. But anyway, so he was walking, and I was walking in the wormhole. It was actually a lot more peaceful than you would think. And then he flew away and turned into a massive worm. And it was a rainbow neon glowing worm. He was flying through space. I was like, whoa. So I might as well follow him. And I turned into me. I was me again, but I had wings. So I flew away. I followed him into space. I actually don't know how we were alive because there is no oxygen in space. But we were flying. And while we were flying, I was like, sure you don't have a name? And he was like, yeah, if you keep asking me that, I might punch you. And I was like, you can't do that, that's mean. And he was like, well, you're being mean to me. And I was like, how am I being mean to you? And he was like, you're asking me for my name when I told you I didn't have one. I was like, you know what, that is kind of mean, I'm sorry. And then he said his name, and I was like, whoa, that's your name? I'll tell you what it was. It was Microwave. I was like, no wonder you didn't share your name. That's a really stupid name. He was like, that's mean. And I was like, I'm sorry. But that is a really stupid name. Who gave you that name? And he was like, well, one time I had this grandma, and she was a wizard. A magical wizard. She had like the cloak and everything. I was like, whoa, I love wizards. I was a wizard one time. He was like, okay. And then he kept telling me, it was like, my grandma was a wizard, and she named me after her favorite magical thing. She created microwaves, and I was like, oh my gosh, your mom created microwaves. And she's like, no, not my mom, my grandma. And I was like, okay. And then he kept talking about his grandma, and I was like, how did she die? And she said she died. And then he was like, oh, well, he died. The end.